All right, so welcome to another video. Today we are going to take a look at Square, or in other words, Block. So I'm going to give you some thoughts and insights. Keep in mind, none of these are recommendations to buy, sell, or trade anything. It's just my own personal opinion, and if you want to grab my opinion, you can do so on our Discord channel. You can request a stock. You can also do that by going into our website at tradersfly.com, signing up to a newsletter list, or grabbing a bunch of freebies here as well as you go in, check out some of the classes and courses. And we've got tons of good freebies here. As you scroll down, you can see there's a ton of them out there. All right, so let's get started and let's take a look at Square here. And as we check this out, I always call it Square. It's still now named Block. It's called Block, but a Square. I'm so confused by the Square or the Block. I don't know which one makes more sense. Is it Square or is it a Block? Okay, so anyway, the stock's had some trouble here over the last year. You can see over the last 6 months, the stock's been trending kind of lower. It's very similar to PayPal, actually, if you kind of take a look at it. The trends and the charts are very similar. Just a lot of the payment companies in this space have not been doing so well. So if you kind of take a look at the comparison, I mean, I don't think it's too much difference right now just because the market's been selling off a lot on the tech stocks. But eventually, as they start separating a little more, one starts getting acquiring more things, there will be eventually a leader at some point, or one will go ahead of the other. In any case, the Block shares gain about 17% on rising revenue. I mean, it's doing well. It continues to climb and push into some of these higher prices. So anyway, as we go in and now take a look at kind of the chart. So we're taking a look here, and let me switch it to the candlesticks. I want to pinpoint a few support and resistance levels for you. Let's go into kind of the monthly chart right here first. I want to pinpoint this ABCD pattern. First off, here's the IPO, little sideways pattern. Now all of a sudden we've got kind of this ABCD pattern. So there's your A, there's your B, B to C, and C to D, okay? So the A point here, B point high, C, really the C is kind of actually over here, B to C and C to D. Okay, so in this case, the B to C is somewhat sideways, but it did have this one flash drawdown. So there's kind of the movement here. And we kind of got toppy here with some sideways action in that area. Now, that stock got into a price range of about almost $300 a share, which again, if you compare to PayPal, very similar. $300 a share. You would think that they're twins. So as we go back to Block or Square here, I started to pull back right here, and you can see we got into about $100 a share, and that's a good psychological level where a lot of stocks either get bought up, or if they break below that, that's a really big problem. So we came back into that level here, and we're starting to hold that. And right now, if we go into the weekly, you'll be able to see that kind of play out. We did break under it just a tad bit, but I don't, that could have been just confluence or panic setting in. But really, if you look at this 100, it's starting to now hold. We are now at about $117. The big problem here earlier was the bearish volume. So this was very bearish, and that is a bit of a problem. However, the good news here is that when we were going, let's say up here at the top, we dried up volume, and as we started to kind of go into this level, we got the selling flush. But now what you're starting to see is on this sell action, this is lighter volume than way up here. We had much heavier volume on the selling pressure. So the selling pressure started to actually die down, and that's actually a good sign. So the question is this becoming a fairly massive buying opportunity? And I think it could if we start holding this price area. So when we start looking at the $100 level, if we start reversing course, I think it's still a little early to tell. I don't believe like this stock's going to go to the moon right away. It takes time, but I think if we start creating some of these like bounces where we come back and retest 100, like right now it's doing well, right? We are up 23%, so that looks fantastic. But I usually don't chase, so I might nibble a little bit, and then if it goes up and then it pulls back a bit, then you add a little more. So you kind of try to create a little bit of a base pattern. Because if you don't get that and you just start selling off again, and you position yourself too large, that can become a little bit of a problem. So always take your time when positioning these things. Especially at the beginning. I mean, it's only like 2 days into it, so you can't say like all of that time frame is now done, because there's a lot of other people that have been in here that are like, hey, happy to see this, but they might be, hey, I need to just kind of get out at higher levels a little bit because I just want to take my loss and get out. So anyway, in your case here as well, what you want to do is take a look at how it's moving and behaving and how we're projecting into those upper levels and prices. Because as we start going, I'll bet you will have some resistance levels at some of these other points where we've had some swing points, especially at about $200 a share. That will probably get some rejection in some problem areas. You'll also probably see some stuff around 150 as well. Now, we are still far away from that. We are at about 117. But you could say that as this starts running, because we're starting to kind of turn around, people are going to think like it's an amazing party, it's time to go and get into the stock. But I just want to warn you that be patient on this as it starts building momentum. And that goes the same with PayPal. Again, this one's starting to also create some positioning here. We're starting to rotate and go. The volume's starting to pick up. The bearish volume starting to kind of subside a little bit. And if you look at the support levels, I do like the supports of PayPal a little bit better personally. It is under the $100 price level, but it's got a little bit more price action at that zone. And it's also more of a panic stock that sold off faster. And because it's sold off faster, I feel like there's more people that have gotten flushed out of this stock than out of Square. So that's why I believe that PayPal actually could have a better run initially, but I think Square overall is a better company. And I've actually used both of them. And, just with PayPal, we moved actually to Stripe, not Square. But I think Square is probably the technology is newer. So I think it could overtake it eventually. But from a stock perspective, I do think PayPal might have a little bit of a better shot from the perspective of that I believe it got flushed out much stronger than Square or Block here. So anyways, we'll see. Obviously, if there's a euphoria that comes in, this stock can take off much faster because I think it does actually have more room to run and has longer sustainability. But PayPal is an older kind of dog on the block. So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts here as we get into it. It looks pretty good from a starting perspective, and we're starting to kind of see some sort of momentum turnaround here, and that's a good start. It's still not at all clear, but I think it's starting to build something where we're starting to see some nibbling going on. And that's where you start looking at, hey, maybe it could be a place for a nibbling opportunity to see some positioning and start positioning yourself around this stock. Anyway, I hope that helps. Thank you so much for joining me. Check out the Discord channel. You can also take a look at the Traders Fly website. Tons of classes that we have going on. Attend them nightly, and we can definitely help you out with your trading options. And you can also see the other YouTube channel that I have if you're interested in learning to trade options a little bit better. Anyways, thanks again for joining me, and I will see you in the next video, episode, class, one-on-one session, and whatnot. Thanks, and take care.